determines, there we go. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Welcome to our accessibility session on using AI to remediate PDFs. With us today, we have Paige Durham, who is the provider for all things accessibility knowledge to the VCCS. Please note we are recording this session and we will share that recording with you. There is a question and answer. If you don't see the Q&A button, click on more, put all your stuff in the Q&A, and we will get them answered and share them back out with you. And for those of you who like to read along, there is a closed caption button
Also under more.
somewhere.
Under more.
Also, yeah, also in the more, and then you could read on the bottom. So meanwhile, oh, look at this room behind me. I am not at home today. I'm going to send this out to Paige. Go ahead.
Good morning, everyone. Yes, my name is Paige Durham. I am the VCCS accessibility provider. You may have seen me a time or 10 in the past 9 or 10 years. I've been part of the VCCS as the senior instructional designer at Germana. Prior to that, I did K-12 music for 23 years. I retired, took a government job, said, nah, 4-hour commute's not a retirement job. And so I started my own business and I am doing contracting work, and this is one of my contracts. But my other contract and my other business that I started is using generative AI in this teaching and learning space. So today I'm going to talk to you about two tools, Copilot, not Copilot, but your Copilot today is going to be Gemini and Claude. So if you have questions, please post them in the Q&A. There will be a few things that you will be given at the end. You will be given a document that walks you through the entire process that I'm going to demonstrate today, as well as a link to the slides for your reference. Okay, so let's get started and let me share the right screen. That's always a win when it happens. Okay, so this is where we're going to start today with remediating PDFs using artificial intelligence. So understanding your toolkit. So the toolkit we're going to talk about today are the two tools, Gemini and Claude. Please note that Gemini and Microsoft are the tools that are available to you at no additional cost through your VCCS accounts. Neither of those tools are pro accounts, but they are the approved account. Now, the Gemini tool is it's more than the free Gemini, but it's less than the pro Gemini. Microsoft is the free version that you all are allowed to have in your workspace. What we're going to talk about is using Claude, which is a tool from Anthropic, for a broader landscape. Because Claude is not a VCCS provided tool, you are not expected to use it, required to purchase it, to meet any of the accessibility standards. I am here today to provide you with solutions to problems regarding PDFs and accessibility. So the problem that we're solving is this April 24th deadline is real. It's coming really quickly. And we have a lot of non-compliant PDFs, and they are very problematic. A lot of times they're problematic because they've been scanned with no machine readable text, which means a screen reader would just say image when it came to a file that had someone had used to print to PDF. Flat files may miss structural tags entirely. That's that heading thing, no alt text for images. So, and manual remediation is very slow. And even tool remediation, if you're just trying to use an accessibility checker like Adobe Pro for Acrobat and Pave or Equidox, it's still a bit time consuming. So I'm trying to give you today some options in order to help you meet the deadline and also not lose your mind. So here we go. So we're going to talk about Gemini first, which is available through your VCCS account. Um, this provides intelligence for remediation. It extracts and analyzes. It allows you to build in Google Docs, and then you can use Grackle to export to PDF. It is a deep integration within Google Workspace, so that it can connect to your VCCS Google Drive, your Gmail, and all things Google within the VCCS account. Claude is by Anthropic, and it's available, and there is a free tier, excuse me, and it will actually create new PDFs that are accessible. So you can upload a PDF and get a PDF back in a single workflow. It also can create Word, PowerPoint, and Excel. And this all happened in Claude in the past 2 weeks, 3 weeks, 3 weeks. This is a brand new feature of Claude in the past few weeks. So, uh, so now let's talk about the difference between the free version, and I'll make this bigger because it looks really tiny on my screen. That should be better. So Gemini free EDU versus Google Pro for PDF work. I want you to understand the differences between the tools and free versions. And so let's take a look. So the AI model that you'll be using through the VCCS is going to be 3 Flash. And a pro account, which starts at $20 a month, is the 3.1. There's a few different things, and I will demonstrate both of those so that you can see them. Notice that the biggest difference between the two is the number of uploads that you can do as bulk. So you can generally do 1 or 2 PDFs at a time, if in the version that you have. I have never ever had the need to upload 10 documents at the same time. So that piece of it is kind of irrelevant because you're generally going to work with 1 PDF at a time. So you see that it does create alt text for you. It extracts to HTML, which is beautiful if you're putting it on a web, putting it in Canvas. It does create, it can read high quality scanned PDF. So if there is something, for example, handwriting, charts, graphs, infographics, it does a really good job. The Pro version is maybe a little bit better, but not a whole lot. The context window, as you can see, is another area where the two differ slightly, which is about 50 pages. And then the Pro version is about 1,500 plus pages. So that's just kind of just a way to look at it. So Gemini, the biggest difference is that Gemini cannot create a new PDF directly. It will provide you the intelligence and help you figure out how to build a PDF. So let's get started on how to do that. So the first thing it's going to do is analyze the PDF and identify what should be headers, tables, lists, and then it's going to tell you how to make either a markdown file or HTML file, or it's just going to give you the copy and paste that you can use. It's going to also show you the multimodal, because it is multimodal and you can create images. It's going to allow you to give the alt text as well that you can include. Now, what I will stop and say here is that it's not going to recreate any images that are in your PDFs. It will provide you the alt text, but you would have to put the image back into whatever document it was you were working with. Table reconstruction. It extracts the tables from, and it can create them in clean HTML so that you can copy and paste. It reads scanned image only PDFs so that it will make it searchable and accessible. And then it also will plain language simplification. So it's going to kind of rewrite complex jargon for a simpler language. So now let's take a look at Gemini. 1 second. I had to get to the right screen. I don't know why that happened. All right, where's the Zoom toolbar? we go. Ooh, toodly-doo. Here we go. All right, so this is where I'm going to start. And I need to open this so I can make sure I'm sharing right. There we go. So this is everybody's seen this, you know what it is. So there's a few ways that you can get to Gemini. You can type in the link. You can come here. This is what I would do so that I'm associated with the right account. I'm going to come here. I'm going to click on my Google Drive. I'm going to go up here to the waffle at the top. I'm going to go until I see Gemini, which is a diamond, and I'm going to click on that. So here we are in Gemini. Notice that I can click on tools, and these are the things that are within your VCCS Gemini account. So you can create music, you can do deep research, that's creating, think OER materials. You can create an image, you can have guided learning. There's also here, you have options. You can click on Pro. You can fast and thinking. So I'm going to go ahead and click on Pro. Now I'm going to upload a PDF. So we're going to start. I'm going to click on upload. Notice here that I can also add from my VCCS Google Drive. I don't have to download it. So if the PDF is already in my drive, I could locate it there. But because we're doing this a little bit differently, I'm going to do it just as a PDF. So what I'm going to say is this. Analyze this PDF and convert its structure into semantic HTML with proper heading tags, lists, and paragraph elements. And I have a prompt guide for you to use. Sorry. And the last piece is, okay, so that's a lot of stuff. So basically it's analyze this PDF, convert it, and then identify all images, write compliant alt text, extract all tables and output with proper TH header elements. So then I'm going to click submit. Now, the PDF that I loaded was just a sample syllabus, but I'm going to also do a fillable form. So now it has created for me the HTML. So now I could take this HTML, for example, if I were in Canvas, I could click the copy code button, go into the rich content editor, toggle on the switch to the HTML editor, put the code in, and then I have now a compliant HTML document inside of Canvas. But let's say that I need this as a PDF. That was supposed to be a question mark, but I hit the wrong key, but that's okay. It's smart enough to understand my poor typing. Okay. So, and I did this on purpose. I know it wasn't going to make me a Google Doc, but I also wanted to let everyone see exactly what it will do, and it will walk you through the process of exactly how to do this. So I'm going to go back up here. I'm going to copy the code. And then I'm going to, you have some options. So I could open a new doc, copy the text. You don't need the HTML block, just the raw text if you want visual, or save the text file and open it. So that's what we're going to do. We're going to, we copied the HTML. Now I'm going to go to Notepad. I'm just going to use the plain old Notepad that's in well, on, I should say, most computers. If you're using a Mac, it would be TextEdit. Here I am in Notepad. I'm going to paste in the information. And now I'm going to go click File, Save As. It's already got the fact that it's a HTML doc, so I'm just going to retitle this a little bit. Leave it in my downloads folder and save. So now I have it. So now I'm going to go to Google Drive. And I'm going to upload that file. And as you can see, it's down here at the bottom. It's uploaded. And you can see that if I open it, it's still in code. But now I can click. Oh, okay, it did not do that. Let's try that again. All right, so we're going to go here, open with Google Docs. And it's still in HTML. Oh, well, that's interesting. It's not supposed to be. I'll fix that. Just give me 1 second. Oh, I did stop that. All right, somebody had their hand up. Please put your questions in the Q&A. If you need to unmute at the end, we'll have time. So I want to go back a couple steps. I'm asking it now to give me the syllabus, and because this obviously is not correct. So I want to fix the problem. So here we have I'm going to go ahead and click copy response. Go back here to this document that I already have. That's not what I copied. That's just great. All right. Wow. So I'm going to do this the old-fashioned way, which is not how I would really suggest doing it, but it's not working the fancy way. So there we go. Now it's in the correct form. So now you can see I have what I need to have in the page. But the problem is this is not semantically, it's not correct. But I also did not have to copy and paste every single piece of my syllabus into the document. So there are a few things that you can see that it just didn't work the way that it said it was supposed to work. So yes, you can put it in Notepad. I actually would have might try this one more different way.
Page 3, quick questions related to what you're
Okay, go
doing.
ahead.
One is they didn't know where to find Notepad.
Oh, okay.
And then the
Yep.
second one was, do you need the .html file type? Why would you use the text file type instead of the .html file type? Those are the three questions up here.
So I think that's the issue, is that I didn't put .html. I think I saved it as a text file, which didn't allow the conversion. So we're going to do this one more time. And then I'm going
So
to,
we have a good audience with a good eye.
there we go. Okay. So that was me not catching my own error, and I should know better. So there are a few things that you can see that are odd in here, like these site 12s. I have no idea what that is. But I would have to have a conversation. That may have been in the original document. I doubt it. So I'm going to go back and go through the steps one more time, just so everybody can see. So I'm going to go back to Gemini. I'm going to ask it, why do you have site 12? So I'm going to ask that, because that looks terrible. And thank whoever reminded me that it's .html. So now I'm fussing at it. So I'm going to get it to give me a clean version. But while I'm doing that, I'm going to show you how to get to Notepad. So Notepad is going to be, let's do it this way. Hold on one second. As soon as I find my, so I'm going to go to the search bar and I'm going to start typing Notepad. Now I have two options on my computer. I have Notepad++ and I have Notepad. Just open the regular old Notepad. And when you open the Notepad, it's just going to be a blank, probably white screen. Everything on my computer is in dark mode. So that's why you're seeing that the way in a dark mode. Once you've done that, you're going to come back to Notepad. Then I'm going to copy what I had before, wherever it is. Here we go. I'm going to paste it here. And what I could do is I could use Control F, and then I could use this, and I could do find and replace, so that I could remove all of those. But that's, kind of neither here nor there. But for now, we're going to kind of just keep moving. So what I want to do now, which I didn't do the first time, is I'm going to go File, Save As, and I'm going to type in syllabus 2.html. And now I'm going to change the type to all files, and I'm going to click save. Now I can go to Google, upload the file. Notice that now it looks like has the little Chrome kind of logo on it. Go ahead and click on syllabus 2. I had to rename it. Then I'm going to click on that. And when I get to this point, I'm going to click open with Google Docs. Now, again, I could do the Control F, I could cite, and I could do the find and replace with replace all. And now I've deleted all of the sites. So there are some, there's a few things that you're going to have to kind of manipulate, but it does allow you to at least get the document itself into a form that you can use. So you're going to again see, like I have this startup here. I'd have to get rid of that, but the headings are here. So if I click here, you notice that is a heading 1, that is a heading 2, that is a heading 2. And the tables are correct. So even though I have all this extra garbage, you can see that that's just a delete. I don't have to retype anything, but that's something that you have to understand kind of happens when you're doing it with Gemini this way. So now let's go back to Gemini, and I'm going to do a new conversation because I don't want to do the same one. And I'm going to upload another file. So this is actually a fillable form. I'll show it to you. Maybe I won't. Now I have the option again. It can use the thinking, but I'm going to go ahead and switch it to the Pro. I'm going to then go ahead and click the button. So we're going to do this process again. This is with a different file. Now this is going to take a minute. So while I am now while we're doing that, I'm going to go ahead because I see it's 11:30 and I want to make sure I have enough time for everything. So while he's doing his thing, I'm going to go back over and I'm going to show you the prompts that I used for the first document. So the structure, analyze the PDF and convert its structure into semantic HTML with proper heading, tags, lists, and paragraph elements. You could just use that. You don't have to put the alt text in if there are no images. So you can add all 3 of those prompts together, or you can use them individually. Either way, you have a prompt that is ready to go so that you don't have to come up with prompts. Now, for the second document, I kind of manipulated it just a little bit. And I said, I need this as a Google Doc that is fillable. I need it to be WCAG WCAG 2.1 AA compliant and still be fillable. So it's working through the process to do that. So the Gemini workflow looks like this. You're going to upload the PDF. You're going to prompt Gemini one way or the other. Then you're going to either paste the information into a doc, or you're going to save it as a notepad file, open in Drive, and then convert it to a doc. And you're going to then have to go back and do some tweaking. Now, remember that this is a shortcut. It is not an instant fix. This is a way for you to use generative AI to get to for a source document that you don't have. If you have the source document, then you can always open that in Word or Google Docs, and you can start from there. Once you've done those things and you converted it, and then you want to save it to a PDF, both Word and Google Docs have a way for you to convert that document into an accessible PDF. So this is using Gemini's intelligence and Google Docs to build and export to produce a properly tagged compliant PDF. So there's no special tool required. You're using the tools that are in there, and they're all part of your VCCS account. So it's actually still thinking on the other one. So I'm going to keep on going. But while it's still thinking, I will come back and show you what it does after it's finished. Okay, so it just finished. So that's a good time. All right. So here we are. It's giving me a little kind of note. So what I'm going to do again, I'm going to copy the code. I'm going to go to Notepad. I'm going to paste the code. I'm going to save file, save as. Hold on. I'm going to make sure that I got all of it. I don't think I did. Hold on one second. Now I'm going to go file, save as. And here I'm going to type form.html, change the type to all files, and click save. Now I'm going to go to Google Drive. Upload the new file. Click on the file, look at it, open it as a Google Doc, and we'll see what happens. This is a bit better, but there are still some issues. Now, what it did do, though, is it pulled out all of the important information that was in the form, but notice that the blanks are literally not there, because a fillable form versus a Google Doc, they're a little bit different. But I wanted to show you how you could do that with the Google Docs. So that takes us through Google. Now let's talk about Claude. So what's the difference between Claude and Gemini? So there's a free version of Claude. Right now, it's Sonnet 4.5, or $20 a month, you have access to Sonnet plus Opus 4.5 and 4.6. You can upload a PDF, about 30 megabytes, and you do get a number of files that are a chat limit. So yes, it can create for you accessible PDFs in both versions. It can also create Word, PowerPoint, and Excel files. There are usage limits. Please notice that the usage limits 15 minutes, 15 messages, I'm sorry, within a 5-hour window. Now, notice that 5-hour window doesn't mean that you lose access to your conversation. It just means you have to wait until your credits are refreshed, and then you can continue on. Projects have also been added to the free version. There is no extended thinking or priority access with the free version, but both tiers, free and paid, can create an accessible PDF for you.
Paige, is there a reason that you copied into Notepad rather than copying into Google Doc?
Yeah, because it was an HTML file, and Google wouldn't have known what to do that with it.
Ah, thank you.
Yeah. Okay. So let's upload a file to Claude and see what we get. So I'm going to go to Claude. and I'm going to show you a few things. So here's where you can change the I'm going to go ahead and make it 4.6. I'm going to do the exact same thing I did with Gemini. I'm going to find that syllabus that is inaccessible. And I'm going to put in this prompt. This is an inaccessible scanned PDF. I'll show you the prompt. Create a new one with proper headings, logical order, alt text, images, acorn framework, proper structured tables. If there are no images, it's going to skip it anyway. So I'm going to go ahead and click go. Now, this does take a minute. It's not fast. Well, okay. It's fast, but it's not instant like ChatGPT gives you some answers. It's also going to show you what it's doing. You can see the skills. You can see that it's creating a proper PDF with tagging, tables, descriptive links, and so on and so forth. So now, granted, that's pretty quick, but so what it's doing is it's reading the PDF and processing text content as well as visual layout. It's going to pull out all the text, an image, and data table. But note, it will put a placeholder in for images, but it will not put an image in where it belongs. Now, it's also going to show you on the right side of your screen the document as it's going to be downloadable. So here you can see, let me open this first. It's a 2-page syllabus, and this again was a total fake syllabus that was not accessible. It created the headings, it created the course descriptions, the grading, the tables, and so on and so on. So now I can pull this down by using the download button at the top, and I can save it. Now, if I open this in Adobe, or actually if I just open it in my browser, you can see what it looks like. It's going to look exactly like it did in the preview window of Claude. So now this document is compliant. It's tagged. It's also got a title in the metadata, which is something that if you're scanning in Canvas, you may see it's missing title. The title is not necessarily on the page. It's actually inside the metadata of the file. So before there were no tags, there was fake table, there were no headers, there was poor color contrast, it was flat, and there was no alt text for any images, but we didn't have any images in this necessarily anyway. But so that is kind of just, this again is just a fake. So if you want to see the original, let me show you what the original looked like. Come on. This is the original document that did not have any headings. The table was obviously not a table. There were no headers. There's no, and look at this color contrast here. That's a hot mess awful right there. Okay. So you can see that that was pretty quick, pretty easy. Claude, like I said, this is a very recent update, but you can do this in the free version. So that was, and I used the same version that you could use if you were in the free version. So now let's go back to Claude.
Paige,
Yep.
when it takes my PDF for me, at what point can I edit the PDF? So let's say the PDF is a little bit old and I want to make 3 changes in it.
What change? Give me some examples and
I want
I'll
to change in the content because it says fall 2025 and I want it to say fall 2026.
hold on. So I just put that information into Claude, and we're going to see what happens. Notice that it's telling me over here, it's a +3, +6. That means it's taking things away and it's moving things. And now it's done. Now you have Fall 2026, Professor Sherry Prupus.
Oh, that's cool. Thank you.
Yeah, sure. And then you can download this as well. All right, so now let's go look at the form. And I saw somebody's hand go up, but hopefully you'll have a chance to put your question in. So now I'm going to go back to start a new chat. I don't want to continue that chat. I want to stop. I'm going to do something else. I'm going to now put this transfer credit form in. I'm actually going to use the same prompt. Uh, this is, and I'm going to say fillable form. And I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to leave it at 4.6. And I'm going to go ahead and hit the button. So now, while it's doing that, I want to make sure I get through a few more things. So what it's doing, it's going to read again the syllabus. It's going to extract the content. It's going to put in the alt text. It's going to rebuild the structure. Then what it's going to provide you afterwards is a properly headed with the proper hierarchy, the structured tables, the logical reading order, and so on and so forth. So you can work for PDF to Word, PDF to PowerPoint, or PDF to Excel as well. So if you need that source document so that you can convert it, you can also ask it to do those things. So, so now you have the option of converting it into a source document that would allow you to do those two changes that Sherry mentioned. As a Word document and then convert it to PDF. So you just have to decide on what's the best way for you to manipulate the source form. So Claude has now taken my fillable form that was not accessible, and it has now created for me a fillable PDF that is accessible. Except for notice that it right here, there's some color contrast issues. So I'm going to have to tell it that it needs to go back and check that. So that's the first go round. So now, all right. So in section 3, you have 4 color contrast between now remember, you are going to be limited to the number of messages that you can use in the free version. It doesn't mean that you have to stop. It just means that it puts you on pause. So again, it's not a 24-hour waiting period. It's about 5-6 hours at most. So you can always come back to your conversation and yeah. So now you can see that it said it was right, and then it was like, oh no, maybe not. Fix the problem with the header cells, blah blah blah. So it fixed the problem, and so you can see that that's what it did. So now you have a perfectly accessible form that you could download again, and I can open this. So if I wanted to fill it out. I actually have to probably open it in Adobe, don't I? Yep. So now what I'm also going to tell it to check is, can you check keyboard and with the IGN? Oh, So now I've reminded it, hey, can you check this? So it also said that I can't check those things, but it is missing something that it needed, which was a structural layer. So it made me and it's now telling me that there are three options. So I could tag in Adobe Pro. I could rebuild in HTML, and then, or I could use a PDF library that supports out, which is, um, those are fancy words. So now it's telling me I can build the HTML version. Would you like me to have full tab order, label fields, blah, blah, blah. So what it's telling me is that fillable forms are still problematic, even for the purpose that Claude can create the form for you. So if I wanted to, how about we convert this to either a Word doc or a sheet. So now it's gonna, now what it said was, I don't, it, the PDF is fillable, but it's also still got some accessibility issues. So now what I'm asking Claude to do is rebuild this in a different way. Sometimes the better option for a form, believe it or not, is going to be a spreadsheet rather than a Word doc or a fillable PDF. So we have 10 minutes left, and I don't want to run out of time because I'm sure there will be questions. So let me just finish up a few things while it's still doing its thing. So when to use which tool? So you use Gemini if you want to identify the structure from a flat PDF and you want an HTML for a Canvas page or convert it to a Google Doc. You'll need to reconstruct any kind of complex table because that's going to be problematic. And if you're working with a very long document, that's probably a better time to use Gemini. When to use Claude. If you want a new accessible PDF that is not a form, notice that I said not a form, you can also then or take a PDF and convert it to a source document such as a Word doc, a PowerPoint, or Excel spreadsheet. You can do that as well. If you need a single tool to do a kind of more of a streamlined workflow that is maybe less on the editing piece, you're still going to have to edit because you're the human who is at the end of the cycle, and therefore you have to make the determination on what is or is not accessible. If you're working with a shorter document, Claude is probably a better option. And if you need alt text or anything like that. So now what I did on the, oh, let's keep going though. So AI is your co-pilot, not your autopilot. And yes, I did not bring up Microsoft's Copilot because Copilot does not work with PDFs. So it would be a large task for you to work in Copilot and try to get any of these things done. So prevention beats remediation. So if you can build an accessible document from Word or Google Docs and then export it to PDF, then you're going to be fine. But if you need a source document, now you have a way in which to do this. So never use print to PDF. Apply the Acorn framework to any alt text. That's accurate, concise, objective, relevant, and necessary. And pick the right tool for the job. If you need a screwdriver, then use a screwdriver. But if you need a wrench, use a wrench. So Claude went ahead and made me a Word document. So it checks the skills for building Word documents before it begins. It does take a bit of time. And then what's better in Word versus the PDF. And this is telling you why the Word document is better. So the true headers proper reading order, course table, keyboard navigation, hyperlinks, field. So everything is here. And now, again, I still have the download option at the top. So when I download this, it downloads as a Word doc. And I'll open it and just as soon as my computer decides to let me open it. And now you can see I have a Word doc that, again, I could go and I can fix. I could save this by using File, Save As, Browse, change it to PDF. Make sure and notice there's a title already here, so I don't have to worry about a title in the metadata. And then click Save, and now I have that as a PDF. Just remember, it's better to keep this specific thing as a Word document rather than a PDF. The only thing it says is there's the signature. So if it needs to be electronic, but if it's paper, you can check that. But again, you could add some content controls with Word as well, and it will walk you through the process. So that is so your takeaway toolkit. So let me get for you the AI as your co-pilot document that I want to share. And it's going to have all of the information that I just went over. And I also want to give you, I'll go over this document as well. So within this document, you can see, here's the note about that the VCCS has given you access to Gemini and Copilot. Claude is referenced. It is a capability companion or comparison so that you understand. However, you are not expected or required to purchase any AI tool. Here are your prompts that I talked about, and exporting, and then using Claude to remediate as well. So there are, and here's your kind of reference guide. And again, these are some copy and paste prompts that you have access to. So there are also accessibility resources. I will give you a link to this folder, maybe. That is a link to the folder that has many other documents. And if you have questions, comments, or want me to help you specifically, please reach out. My address, my email is pdurham@vccs.edu, as well as I will have office hours beginning at noon today till 4. If you have more questions that you want to stop over and visit. But here is a link to the presentation. And that is all I have. Sherry, did I answer all of the questions that were in the chat?
I think so. I
Perfect.
think so. Nobody is required to purchase Claude.
Nope.
You really can do what you need to do between Gemini and the free version of Claude,
Yep.
depending on exactly what it is that you want to do. It's only if somebody, maybe in an administrative department, has tens and tens and tens of PDFs that they may want to talk to their supervisor about using the P card to purchase a version of Claude. Some faculty on their own may purchase any AI, whether it's Copilot, Gemini, Claude, but there is no requirement to purchase Claude.
Correct.
Somebody sent us, wait, I'm gonna put this in the chat. You'll see it. Somebody gave the code for the find and replace and the citations. Okay, because that I definitely would not have known. Ha!
Yes.
A compliment on your glamour picture.
Thank you.
And then if your PowerPoint is accessible and you have a reason to save it as PDF, will the PDF automatically be accessible?
The answer to that is could be, depending upon how you choose to save it. If you use save as and browse and make sure that the box that says document tags for accessibility, then yes, you can have a PowerPoint that converts to a PDF that is accessible. Any other questions before we go?
No, one question I asked them to reach out to us privately because they create information that has privacy issues.
Okay.
So we
Yep.
will they'll give us more details. And the point of this is that you do not want to upload any private information.
No.
And
And those were blank forms. They were blank, that was nothing proprietary, no FERPA, nothing, anything like that. And that goes for both Gemini and for Claude. Blank.
or any AI that
Yeah.
they use.
Or any, yeah, ChatGPT, whatever, Copilot. Yeah.
Okay, so Paula wants to know about handwriting.
So that both of them can do that. So both Claude and Gemini can parse out handwriting.
One of the things that's good some of this you're only going to learn by doing is if you upload handwriting in your prompt, let the AI know what the context is. This
Right.
is a math formula that solves X. This is a diagram that describes, give it some context so that it knows what it's reading when it goes through your handwriting. It does a pretty nice job.
All right. Well, that,
Paul is specifically a math teacher. Yeah.
yeah. Um,
So give it definitely give it the math context. And
yep.
Paul, if you have a specific issue, come to one of Paige's online labs and she'll work through it with you. When you do one or two examples, then you'll be fine and you'll know how to do it on your own.
So the only other thing I will add in the chat is if you want to know when the office hours are and how to get there, that's a link to the office hours. And they begin today. I'll be in the Zoom room from 12 to 4, tomorrow from 9 to 2, and Thursday from 12 to 5. And then I have them for the rest all the way through the end of March.
Okay,
And
I'm
then we'll,
only answering one more question, then she has to jump to the lab. Um, the AIs will be able to describe design and photo heavy PDFs. But Bryce, the best thing to do is come to the open lab and show a specific example because depending whether it's biology or art or whatever, you're going to have to tweak your prompt a bit.
or you're going to have to create an alternative version that is text only and leave your PDF that is text and image heavy as it is.
Yeah, so you might say that one is a
Yes.
print
So
version and one is an accessible version.
Sarah, if you want to, my office is literally an open door. If you want to come and hang out and listen to whatever is being discussed in the open labs, you are more than welcome. You do not need to have a question. You just have to show up. And that's pretty much it.
So I do want to thank Paige and I want to thank everybody for joining us. And we posted in the chat a lot of the resources for you. And you will have gotten many of them today in the Tech Tip Tuesday, and we'll keep sharing them out every Tuesday. Thank you, everyone. Bye.
All right, I'm heading to the office hours.
Yep, bye.